Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk, where we have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable, let's get down conversation.
Hello, my name is Quan Mitchell. I'm the head band director at Evan E. Worthing Early College High School. We've been cordially invited to the National 4th of July Parade in Washington, D.C., July 4th, 2023. Our goal is to raise $200,000 so that we can send our students to Washington, D.C. While traveling to Washington, D.C., our students plan on attending the African American Smithsonian Institute, Howard, Hampton, and Norfolk State University. We're accepting all forms of monetary donation. To donate to this specific endeavor, please donate directly to our PTA association, and in your memo section, please put Marching Pride of Sunnyside. We'd like to thank all of the donors that have contributed to our program thus far, and we'd like to thank all sponsors and contributors for donating to our From Worthing to Washington campaign.
All right. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversation about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Let me introduce Maya. Hey. Quan will be on later, as well as Portia. So I want to make sure that I do give that announcement first. All right, man. So like we always do, let's start it out. What's going on in your world, Maya? What you got going on?
Nothing. I'm kicking, but it ain't high.
That was the same thing you gave me last week. You got to give me something fresh this week.
I said that last week. Oh, well.
Yeah, you did.
Same thing, different day.
Got you.
I'm happy to be here.
You just here so you won't get fined. I got you. This week has been super crazy. If you guys remember last week, I was telling you, as far as the things that I can do or the things that I do now, I'm running audio and visual for my church, and we have been going full throttle this past week, and we ain't stopping no time this week. So my week has been super crazy, but I will say this. I mean, things just keep popping up. I'm not even going to really get into what we're going to talk about tonight because something else popped up more recent. And it is this thing here that's going on with Deion Sanders. First of all, let me ask, did you hear about what's going on with Deion Sanders?
Of course I didn't, but let me check Twitter real quick. What happened?
Well, I mean, you don't got to check Twitter if I'm about to tell you. So for those of you all who don't know, Deion Sanders went into a meeting with the band staff, and basically, and I'm not going to give word for word, but he says he ain't too happy with some of the music in which the band is playing, and he wants something that's going to be a little bit more HBCU style with Colorado. And he obviously brought up Jackson State and talked about their theme music. And he said he wants to make sure that when he comes out, that they play his theme music. And he told them it's easy, it's easy for y'all to learn. And, I think it's something that the kids will be really excited about. Now, me personally, I'm going to tell you, it's always good to have a good rapport and a good relationship with your football coach, your athletic director. That's always a good thing. I ain't too keen for you walking in and trying to tell me what my kids should play though. So, and I have a couple more thoughts about that, but what's your thoughts on that, Maya, now that you heard the info?
I think that's dumb as hell. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, what you mean? Like, you knew where you were going before you got there. I just it sounds like he need to go back to where he came from if that's what he want. Because what you mean, and also, boy, you new here. You ain't gonna come up in here and start, ripping and running and telling us what we about to do and this what you do and don't like. Child, the ink barely dry on your contract. What do you mean? But I guess.
So and you kind of hit some of the nail on the head. Exactly what I was thinking. Like when I saw it, I was like, you shouldn't have left Jackson State. Like what you want Jackson State at a non-Jackson State area? I mean, come on, bro. You went to Colorado, bro. Like I forgot what the black population is. Was it like 5% at the university? It's something super low.
Of course. So I mean, it's like we gotta pick and choose when we want to go for the equal across the playing field versus not conversation. Oh, should we be inclusive or should we not? Oh, this is left for this and this is left for us. Black versus white. Crispin. I don't know. I don't know. It's I'm disgusted by it because it's like, okay, let's say they do it. It's not going to be done in the way in which you think that it's going to be done or want it to be done or hear it in your head or see the vision for yourself. I don't know. That's absurd.
Yeah, and I think that's the other part about it that I think that he may not be understanding. You can get somebody to be able to, I mean, because first of all, Brother Dotson already said it. Prime ain't writing the music. But it's not even going to be in the same energy, in the same vein as you would get at a Jackson State or at a Southern or at a Grambling or any other HBCU. So what he's wanting, I think is a little, I'm going to use one of your terms, is a little far out of their wheelhouse. And so, I mean, my thing is you should have stayed at the HBCU if that's what you wanted.
Exactly. You listen, that man done got them toes cut off and got fully unbalanced. Okay, he don't know what's going on. He don't know his left from his right. I assume because what, like, I make it make sense. It just, I don't know. That's terrible. Terrible.
But I think there's another part about that I don't even think that maybe some people have thought about, and it's the fact that now you want to bring the HBCU culture to the PWI. And we have already kind of had that process of happening with the dance girls at USC. So now you want to try to bring that culture to the PWI. I think you, like, once again, you should have just stayed at the HBCU and got your HBCU feel.
Right.
It's just so many different pieces to that I think that's crazy. And I think, didn't he get in trouble for doing prayer before a game? I think one of the kids went and complained, or one of the athletes went and complained about doing a prayer before a game. So I think you have to realize, bro. And I think that this is one of the things that I was trying to get to, right? Like, you help to and I'm not gonna say revitalize because the culture was already there, but you really help to put the historically black college and university culture in a limelight in a completely different way. And you were heavily embraced by your people and that culture, and you made the decision to step outside of that and go somewhere else. Now, that's all well and good. If you chose to do that, that's what you chose to do, but recognize the space that you in. You can't go to the you can go to the HBCU and you can have prayer, right? Because we all believe in Jesus at some point or another. We all talking about Jesus. But you can't do that there. They're not about to let you ride with that. And then now you want to bring some of the HBCU style, into this space, and now you got the We Are One complex going on. Nah, bro, they got their thing and they got their lane, and we got ours. Exactly. And I think, and then on top of that, have you seen their band?
No.
Ooh,
Is
you
it
might
big or small? Wait, are we talking? What are we in? What regard?
just go look up Colorado
Is it Colorado State? Colorado what?
CU
Oh,
CU marching band. When he went to Colorado, that was the first thing I looked
is
up.
it super core style or something?
Oh, yeah. Just go look at it. Just look at one of the videos of them marching into the stadium. Just go look at that. You ain't even got to turn on no sound. Just look at it.
I can't. I'm looking at the Google pictures right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can look at that. I mean, nice uniforms or whatever. But I mean, they got the little cowboy hat daddies. But other than that, though, you gotta watch them with that march in. You're not gonna get that HBCU energy. You just not gonna get that, brother. It's just not gonna happen. So yeah, you're looking at it now, right? And it's like, what is this here? You and supposedly, I don't know if it's true or not. This is just what I read. Supposedly, the band director has gotten in touch with or reached out to Dr. Little at Jackson State. I don't know how true that is, but supposedly that happened.
To do what?
I don't know. That's why I'm saying supposedly.
To obtain the music, even still, let's say they give them the exact sheet music. It's still not. It's still.
I don't think they're gonna.
I just don't understand it. Like when you start getting too big for your britches, and you think that what you say goes or matters so much that like the influence just that so appealing that no matter what you say it's gonna stick. How much money you are, how many primes, and how many pictures you got with your sweet 32 all across the internet, it don't matter. At the end of the day, you are still the elephant in the room, sir. Like, let's be clear, let's be honest. We have these reserved spaces for a reason. A lot of folks got the code switch the majority of their life. You know what I'm saying? We have this reserved space for a reason, for us to be as blackety black adjacent, whatever matters or whatever fits your persona. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just bland.
So and I think so the conversation in the chat is really taking off, and I actually do want to bring this up, but I think it's really funny that people are calling it season. It's going to be seasonless chicken. But the thing about it is, so the idea of LSU was brought up. I don't put LSU in that same category. There's a couple of reasons why I don't put LSU in that same category. The first reason why I don't put LSU in that same category is because they're in Louisiana. There is a culture of a certain type of music there. And I think that for them, it's a little bit easier for them to embrace versus Colorado. I think the other half of that is the fact that brother Kelvin Jones is a brother that is from Jackson State. So and not to mention the fact that he was a graduate assistant at LSU. I saw it. I've already explained. I mean, I can hit the button right now, but it's recording anyway. So either way, I have two backups. But he was a graduate assistant at LSU. So he has had time to be able to put into his thought process how he can incorporate the things that he knows from Jackson State, from personal experience, into the culture of what already is LSU. I think it's different when you're talking about a band director who has no affiliation with that style of band, with that style of culture, and trying to merge that idea and that culture into something that is, has already been established for a number of years. Even if you get help from the outside, let's say Dr. Little does come and help. That help is only going to go so far, just because of the fact that as of right now, those students are not ingrained in that culture, and to try to teach that culture and to pass it down a certain way and so on and so forth. I think that it would be a little difficult. That's all I'm saying. So that's kind of what I'm saying. Now, I see the question, why not open a position to meet that need? The possibility is there. But if I go back and look in that video, that band staff is pretty stacked. And you're gonna have to, I mean, if you're gonna shell out that kind of money that you did for Prime, you might want to shell out that kind of money for some band director to come in and do that. A band director that's from the culture, that can be able to add that experience into that. I think that is, I mean, it's possible, but I don't think they're getting rid of nobody to be able to add that into their repertoire. I don't think that's happening. So I think that they have to be comfortable enough and have the backing financially to be able to spend that money to be able to provide that service for that program. And that's also if that program is willing to go that far. So that's just my personal belief. But I'm still in the mindset of, brother, you a brother, and you ain't in that, you ain't in that space for that. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. So,
I mean, all facts. At the end of the day, if they end up playing the songs or what have you, fine, they'll do it. But then what? You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be the same, regardless. So,
right. He may not get the same chills and that he did from the boom.
Ain't no might about it.
I mean, he may get a little tingle, a little twitch, but he ain't gonna get the same chill. When you got the whole stand up, got the whole crowd standing up talking about who was swag. That's a completely different feel. When you're in Colorado, that's just two totally different things. So that's just my personal belief. I mean, hey, it is what it is. We got our sister down there talking about Let It Go. Hey man, well, this ain't Frozen. We ain't singing nothing over here. Not now, at least. Let me get some water in me, and then I'll probably start singing. All right. Let me get ready to, if he's ready. I don't know if he's ready. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready. And if you don't give me a thumbs up, then I know you ain't ready before I bring him in. Okay, there we go. All right, so let's get ready to bring in Brother Quan. I don't know if he has any thoughts on this. What's going on there, good brother?
What's up, dog?
I need whatever that is. I need that. Let me get that. Is that a hoodie?
It's a hoodie.
Let me get that. Where'd you get that from?
Black owned business. I'll get you the info.
Thank you. Appreciate
High
you.
School University. What are you gonna brag on?
Yeah. I need that. I need that in my life. That just sweet. All right.
Maya got the wet wavy. Hey, girl. She Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican.
Bro, I was going, bro. I got that same shirt on underneath, bro.
Oh, you do?
Same shirt on. Yeah, I do.
Wait, you cross nagging right now?
That's a hoodie. Is that a hoodie?
Yeah.
A shirt hoodie. I know that's right. You better.
I'm prepared for this Texas weather.
But that's why I said I wanted it, because I don't have one, and it's dope.
Yeah, I get you one. Ain't no problem.
But
when your birthday?
Saturday.
For real?
Yeah.
Damn.
Literally.
I got you.
Birthday.
But you cross Nelia, man.
Bro, don't worry about that. You doing too much. You doing too much.
Well,
what was the question? I'm sorry.
Well, two things. First, because we haven't even gotten to the questions yet. But first of all, what's going on with your brother? We always got to start the music right. I mean, I'm looking at the chat and thinking music. Anyway, we always got to start it right, man. What's going on in your world? What's going on band wise, music wise?
Band wise, two things going on. I'm excited that I'm getting my kids ready for UIL. We have our first festival next week, March 9th. We're doing Canadian sketches, so we're doing that piece, which is cool. My kids, honestly, they well, that's a long applause. The kids, they really love it. They really love it. So we're diving into that. And I've started to take 2 days out the week to honestly have master classes. I know you and I, we go to TMEA all the time, and so we get all of those handouts. So I've literally been printing those handouts and literally working per group specific things, teaching them how to be independent musicians. Hey, tune yourself pure like this. Like they know they're beginning to learn how to work the harmony director themselves. We've been singing more. So I'm excited about that aspect of teaching. So that's what's been going on. So that's number one. Number two, I really try not to get into it, but I had to speak my piece in regards to this marching band, concert band foolishness.
We're not there yet. We're not there yet.
All right, y'all gonna hear my. I'm gonna just say it like this: y'all gonna hear my piece on that, Jeremy, because let me go somewhere else because I don't want to get in the question. Somebody I had asked somebody. I was like, as a people, will we ever get it together? Like I know that sounds like a crazy question, but like as a people, we so busy arguing about so much foolishness to where like we don't see the big picture. And I'll leave my other thoughts for later when the questions start. But shout out to Crystal too. I do want to say shout out to Crystal, because Crystal, man, be dropping knowledge in the middle of the day that sometimes motivate me. And I'll be like, because I'll be wanting to quit. I ain't gonna lie. But Crystal be giving your boy life, and she be giving documents and giving resources. So shout out to Big Sis.
Absolutely. So yeah, because I know you were ready to go off and you was ready to fire. I needed to kind of pump your brakes for a second. But what we were talking about when you came in was the whole Deion Sanders thing with the Colorado band. That's what we were talking about. I didn't know if you had an opinion on that or even if you even knew about it. So if you knew about it, then, if you got a thought process, let's hear it. If you didn't know about it, we can move on.
I mean, I saw the video. Shout out to Curtis because he like dragging it. It's funny, but he in my opinion, I'm gonna use like this. He a hustler, bro. He knows how to encapsulate everybody to buy in to what he's selling. So if he say, "Hey, we're gonna do a theme song, we're gonna do this to get everybody bought in," who wouldn't do it? But being honest, I wish more coaches was honestly invested into their university's program. Being honest, could you imagine if the football team was a football coach at PV was like, "Hey, we would like to do this song, for us to make that song a staple outside of Swamp." What type of camaraderie could you have? So, good point to me.
Well, I do know that the ADs have great communication. Specifically, I know when we were at the AD had a good communication when we were at PV. I don't know what's happening at other universities. I'm pretty sure that the communication between the AD or the football coaches are there as well with other band programs. So I'm not going to say that doesn't happen. And I'll leave it there. There we go. I'll leave it there. All right, man. Let's go ahead and get these topics started because Quan was ready to go in. And I want to give him that space to do that. And Maya is probably oblivious to what has been happening. So let me go ahead and start it off the right way. So here we go. By the way, I'm about to hit the record button right now. So I'm recording 2 times. I just want to make sure I said it again. All right, so here we go. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversation about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Go ahead and smash that like, daddy. Man, I forgot to tell you, we have reached 501 subscribers, man. So 501 subscribers. I'm so excited about that. Shout out to our new subscribers, Walt White, Malachi Como. I want to make sure I say it right. and Tomaz Repa Hilton. So shout out to you guys, man. So appreciate you guys. Appreciate the love, man. So you guys are super dope. So I'm going to always say it. Here we go. Subscribe to the Passionates Network and turn on notifications. This episode will be up on all your podcast networks. Just type in Talk That Talk, except for on Apple Podcasts, where you can type in Real Talk That Talk. And let me also say this. My brother called me, Rick called me, and he was cussing me out. I mean, he didn't cuss me out, but he was a little upset because he was on his flight. I think he was going to California to deal with drum corps, and I hadn't uploaded the recent podcast, so my bad. I told him it was my bad, and I was phony for it. So I got to make up for it. So I'll be making sure that I upload the content. I got a lot going on, man. I just got a lot going on. All right. So here we go. The title of this daggone show is called What the Hell Happened? So and let me tell you where I came up with that from. So I'm sitting back, Honda's over, everything is done, and I'm sitting back and I'm like, all right, man, kumbaya. Everybody's good. We in our own spaces, and band life is just okay right now. And then all of a sudden, I open my book face, and all of a sudden I'm seeing people just going in this with concert band, and y'all talking about concert band and marching band and the marching season. I'm like, what the hell? Where did this come from? And so I've seen multiple posts from multiple people, and shout out to Deontay Kennedy. I do want to make sure that I shout him out. He's gone on several times to be able to explain a lot of his thought process. And so I just want to make sure that I shout him out on top of that. But it's really been a huge, huge, huge debate. And I realized that we have had this conversation before. And I think the episode was Crank That Concert Band, if I'm not mistaken. But we coming right back around again, because obviously this is a major thing that has happened in this past week. And I want to discuss it a little further, because even me, I'm a little confused. So with that being said, no, let me ask my question first. And then, what the heaven just happened? These are not the questions that I put in. I'm gonna call these people with this daggone program, because this is not okay. Anyway, my first question is, because this is the first thing I was thinking when I saw all of this. When we had this discussion originally, or even when somebody has this discussion, are we talking about universities, or are we talking about secondary and high school programs? So what is the level of the conversation? Is it the universities, or is it the secondary and high school programs? So Quan, I since you were ready to kind of unleash, I'm gonna kind of hold you back and just to answer this question. And if you want to elaborate, you are more than welcome. But as we go in, then I'll let you go in, and then we'll do our thing. So go ahead, Quan.
So for me, I thought we were talking about all aspects of concert band, because we did mention the Southern universities. We did mention FAMU, Jackson State, so forth and so on, for the Crank That Concert Band, because we basically lamented that if those particular schools were able to promote concert band just as much as they do marching band, their influence and platform honestly can push modern literature forward, specifically for our culture, right? So to answer your question, from my point of view, I thought we was doing that.
Okay. Maya, when we have these conversations, and when we've had them in the past, were we talking about universities, or are we talking about secondary, high school programs?
Again, I thought it was an all-inclusive type matter, because some of the emphasis was the feed-in from the secondary schools all the way up into college and university. So I've always, whenever we have the discussion, or at least the folks that I'm clued in with, are talking about it as a whole thing, all of them.
Okay. So it's funny to hear both of you all say that. And the reason why I say that is because I knew that in our normal conversations and the conversations that we have had, I knew that we were talking about the university, and I knew that it can eventually infect the secondary level, the secondary and high school level. But I always thought we were just talking about the university programs. In general, we were talking about, and this is the way I perceived it. In general, I thought we were strictly talking about university programs. And then we kind of branched off and talked about how one can service the other by the students that graduate from those programs who then become teachers. So am I wrong in the way that I perceived it, or am I right in the way that I perceived it? I don't know.
I don't think in that regard, I don't think it's a right or a wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think the perspective, honestly, it makes sense both ways, right? So you're thinking of it in a forward thinking manner, how it comes back and goes back into the system. I mean, they're all relevant to me. So I don't think you're right or wrong. Well, I guess you're right. I think everybody's right.
Okay. All right. Oh, Quan, you had something to add? Or you good? All right. So then let's go ahead and move on, because hold on, I got it. Well, okay. Let's go ahead and move on, and then I'm gonna help Portia out here. So I saw one of these, and I see these all the time. And we just gotta really address this and truly address it. And let's be honest with ourselves here. Does your level of success truly determine your amount of knowledge that you can give? Maya, does your level of success truly determine your amount of knowledge you can give?
No. I mean, success is subjective, right? So just because you may not be a doctor or whatever, or have won awards or whatever that looks like to determine what placement, who can say what, that's very subjective. You don't have to have the title of a leader to be a leader. You don't have to have a particular title or be at a particular level to have influence. And I think influence is really just paying it forward, right? So giving off what you have knowledge of or you know about, and just expanding it, and kind of just opening the doors for conversations to be had, learning opportunities. So I don't think that, just because I'm not by title or by paper at this level does not mean that I have not had certain experiences of my own, that I have not done my due diligence in reading, learning, assessing different things, and kind of building my own corner of my expertise of whatever it is, whether it's art, music, pouring a glass of wine, whatever that may look like. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think none of that matters. And I think that that's part of the issue. Well, part of the future issues of why that's a whole nother statement, but okay. Yeah.
You could have went into it. No, I wouldn't have.
Well, I didn't know if potentially it was like, that's a later on down the line type deal.
No, you good. You good. Go ahead.
Well, I forgot now. It's fine. I'll ping it back in when it comes back.
Got you. All right, Quan, does your level of success truly determine the amount of knowledge you can give?
To a degree, yes and no. To a degree, yes and no. Because I'm gonna approach it from this point of view. From in regards to the men, both of us are parents. And I'm pretty sure y'all two ladies, y'all got some godchildren somewhere, but any knowledge or information that you have, if you impart it on anybody, the goal is that it helps them and betters them overall. That also goes the same way for the knowledge that you don't have. Some of us, we've lacked in certain areas of our lives due to the lack of the knowledge that our parents had, and we had to go get it ourselves. So, for example, if your parents, they don't understand finances, financial literacy, how can they give you something that they don't have? That's why you should be an educator that's always studying and always getting better. Bottom line. But that doesn't determine your success. So it's kind of like a catch-22 on some of it, if that makes sense. So I wouldn't say it solely determines it, but it can hinder or halt your success.
Gotcha.
That's a good point. The credibility of it all. Yeah, I can feel that. I agree with that too.
Well, I'm glad you said that because I'm gonna bring up some other stuff. But hey, Portia, you got in. Welcome. You tired? Oh, I know. You ready to jump in on this, or you want to come in on the next one?
This is fine. Hey y'all.
Hey,
I'm tired today, like real tired.
we know.
Does your level of success truly determine the amount of knowledge you can give? No. I've learned some really good lessons from people who society wouldn't categorize as successful. In some areas, life is a really good teacher. And if you can spare me from learning those hard lessons you learned, I would prefer to do it that way. Now, I do think that some things you have to do in order to understand and therefore impart knowledge, but I don't know that it truly determines. I think it would depend on what it is. Like, if you ain't never twirled a flag before, I'm gonna listen to your opinion, but I don't know if I'm weighing it against somebody who has. I'm also looking at that from the perspective of, did you do it well? Because I always think it's strange when some band people are real loud, but we know you either didn't check off or barely checked off. So I want you to be, quieter. But it just will depend on what it is. Some stuff it is, and some stuff it isn't. In life, I don't know that success determines the lessons that you've learned. But there are areas where you need to have done it and to walk in those shoes. And in some instances, you need to have done it well. Because I don't know anybody who wants to pass on mediocre tips. So, yeah, I think it's levels to it.
Okay. So let me kind of put this into perspective. So one of the things that I keep seeing every time these kind of conversations come up, so on and so forth, is, who are you? You can't even build a band. Your band got 15 people in it. I was able to build this band, so on and so forth. How are you going to tell me X, Y, and Z? My question, and this is where the question is coming from. If I'm in a predicament or a situation where my numbers are a specific way for whatever reason, that doesn't necessarily mean that I don't have the knowledge to impart on you. If I can give you knowledge to say, hey, this is what your kids need in order to be better musicians, because just because I have 15 doesn't mean that my kids are bad musicians. I may just be in a different area than you are, or a different region than you are, where band is a little bit more praised than the other.
That's why I said it's levels, because to me, numbers doesn't always mean successful. We've heard some big bands sound, like they needed some work. So I don't know that numbers equal success. To me, that's ignorant. Go ahead, Quan.
No, love. I'm gonna choose violence. Everybody being nice. Excuse me, Julian. When I say this, fuck all that. I'm gonna tell you why. Because we dealing with N-words. I'm not gonna go that far, but that's what we dealing with. and all week. That's what I've seen. To them, numbers do matter. It doesn't matter that we have buku numbers, but everybody don't sound good. But then you'll Google me, and then we'll backdoor and say, well, Quan, look at your band and such and such. But there's a difference of what you call overall. What's going on, mama? There's a difference at what we call success. So much is going on right now. There's a difference at what we call success. I call success granting a first year generation college student or affording a student that never thought about going to college the opportunity to go to college. That's success for me. Maybe because the problem is success is measurable to where you started. When I started my band program here, I had 8 kids. Those 8 kids was all from. Now, as of right now, I have 47 kids with everybody in the program total, dancers, twirlers, and everybody. We got 65. So to me, my math is a little bit mathing, but that's success. Every year, every senior that I've had, they've graduated and had a scholarship to some university. That's success. But because we didn't march in certain parades or we didn't blow on certain people, another person will say, well, that's not successful to me. So then now we have to calculate what's that aspect of success. So that's number one. To your point, Julian, you say if a person has the knowledge and those 15 kids may be better musicians than those 60. Okay, cool. So I look at it like this, though. Is the knowledge that person is giving, is it correct? So that's number 2. And then this is number 3. I'm going to say this. There's a difference between knowledge and then wisdom. There's a difference. Wisdom, let me rewind. Knowledge is when you read it out of a book and you just have it. Wisdom is when you apply the knowledge to your life and you make it applicable. There's a lot of band directors that I see, specifically in Julian and I age range, that have a lot of knowledge, but you're not wise with it. Because to have this overall argument about why concert band isn't important is frustrating for those that already have to fight against other aspects of racism on itself. We ain't gonna dive into that because what we do truly does matter as African Americans because we represent a culture. So at the end of the day, like I seen one comment that said, well, marching concert band is forced. Well, my question is this. When I did my post on Facebook, I said, well, if you're only study geometry your whole life, you will be great at angles, the Pythagorean theorem, hypotenuse, and such. But if a person start talking about amino acids, you will have no clue what he's talking about. So now you've just limited yourself. And a lot of band directors are limiting their kids. So now all your kid know is marching band. They go and be they go and just say, like we said on the last show, 3% become band directors. But all you know is marching band. So you can't even look up literature. So now the sins of the father fall on the kids. So all they know is marching band. They're going to teach all they know is marching band. So now you got a whole bunch of marching band directors, but not musicians. I saw a comment that said, well, what about that double reed player that don't want to march? They sit in concert band. That's what they do. And what people fail to realize is double reed players actually get more money on specific campuses because there's not a lot of them. I'm going to digress. But all of this, going back and forth that we're doing is only with us. Please understand it. It's only with us. I don't understand as a band director how you feel that you should march from July all the way to March.
Can I just say, I don't know what kind of energy these people got.
I don't know.
Because I'm going to tell you, it about killed me going from August to February. Real talk. Longest season ever. That's what I called it. Still tied. I don't.
My question is just like I said. Sometimes the beauty of concert literature or jazz literature is you could sit down with the kids, because the truth is, marching band, you're performing to march. I'm sorry, you're performing to entertain for the most part. Like, yes, there's teaching, but you really don't have the time. If you really pushing your marching band to the highest level that you can in your area, depending on your demographic, your administrative support, and all of those tangible things, you got a performance every week. You're practicing to perfect the last performance. However, it's a difference when you have a suite. You got Gustav Holst, and you was like, you know what, we're gonna work on Jupiter. Out of all of Jupiter, okay, I see these aspects, these, blah, blah, blah. We're gonna do this right. Let's slow down. Let's chunk all of this so that I can get a master level objective completed instead of just rushing to the next thing. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah. So you basically were going into a territory that I actually did want to go into. So and I didn't say no. I said you I didn't say it would. Well, it kind of was a question, but it's okay because you didn't really do it. You were headed that way. So let's just go ahead and start it right. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversation about band, HBCU, band culture, music education, and more. Go ahead and smash that like, daddy, man. Don't even wait on it, man. We got to make sure we get these likes up. The likes, I want them to match the number of views. If you give me a thumbs down, it's okay. All right. We just need to help out that YouTube algorithm. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the Passionates Network and turn on notifications. This episode will be up on all your podcasting networks. Just type in Talk That Talk, except for on Apple Podcasts, where you can type in Real Talk That Talk. So I when we were on with Brother Iron, one of the questions that I did ask is about the region. And when I'm looking at a lot of these comments and when I'm watching these comments and so on and so forth and people going back and forth, one of the things that I tend to look at sometimes is where people are teaching and where people are directing and where people are from. One of the things that I've realized is a lot of the Texas people kind of have the same kind of mindset. And that mindset is, bro, that marching all year ain't it. And then just being a Texas born and bred person, going to TMEA, so on and so forth, I have to ask this question. And we can kind of branch off into other directions because I know other people don't necessarily see it that way. But the question basically is, do Texas music educators seem arrogant? And the way that we approach when we're talking about music education, when we're talking about things like that, because a lot of us ain't trying to do that stuff because we have rules and regulations that are bound by UIL that says this has to be done in this particular time. Whereas there are not many areas, or I'm not gonna say there are not many, but there are a lot of areas that don't necessarily require you to do these certain things. So do Texas music educators seem arrogant? I'll start with Portia. Do we seem arrogant?
No, not to me. I mean, you want to provide versatility. I just don't know no professional marching bands. You want them to be able to leave your school, your institution, whatever, and be able to do something else besides marching band. There isn't a professional one. I don't know one that's giving out checks. So the goal is to go forth and prosper. And I know a lot of people that gig and do other things that supplements their income, but none of it is related to marching band. And so I'm reading this comment about Drumline Live as a professional marching band. That's a singular thing. Is it multiple of them?
Well, let me say that. I'm not to cut you off, Portia, because the reason why, and all of those people that's on Drumline Live for the most part are co-musicians outside. Prime example, Larry Allen, that's been the drum major since the beginning, that's been on there. He's a producer, number one. He was also the dance choreographer for Homecoming for Beyonce. Number 3, he was a band director himself. Number 4, he marched in the box. Number 5, he actually plays trumpet and several different brass instruments. So he's a musician. So the statement of Drumline Live in the professional aspect, all of them are professional musicians.
But my point is, it's only one of that. It's only one of them. It's not multiple. It's not Drumline Lives all across the United States. There, all these people can leave these marching bands and go join. So they have to do something to sustain their livelihood. And with the exception of Drumline Live, there are not places for them to go and do marching band for the rest of their entire life. So I don't think it's arrogant. I think that marching band has become more commercialized. It's more in your face, or people are advocating for it more, but there needs to be balance. And I don't think it's arrogant. I think you all strive for balance, and it should be balanced. But that's my 2 cents.
Okay. Maya, do Texas music educators seem arrogant?
I don't have much skin in this fight. I don't think so. I agree with Portia. I mean, and that's also all I know. So it's not a sense of arrogancy. I think it's just more so of not a competence, but just a confidence, right? And being able to grow, develop, and do these things in different aspects, but be able to have the markings behind it to be able to kind of rest assured that the teachings and the knowledge are being placed in the right places. Aside from just marching band, growing musicians, growing the sake of the art, I don't think that that's arrogance. I think that's what it should be. Maybe if it is arrogant, then some people need to put a little bit more confidence in they self whatever and start getting on the bandwagon.
All right.
Let me just say this, because people keep making comments. The stuff that y'all are naming is in addition to a full-time job. I'm saying nobody's going out here and living solely off of even these little side NFL bands, NBA bands, Drumline Live. Like, they're not paying enough to sustain you, at least to my knowledge. So they have to be able to do other things, was the point of my comment.
Yeah, and I do get your comment, because of the fact that, like, the NFL bands, the NBA bands, yeah, like, those are cool, but those are like really like side gigs. They're side hustles. They're not. If one person was to live off that alone, that would be impossible. So I think that's what you're trying to say. So for everybody who keeps pulling up the side hustle, that's cool, but that's not what she's referring to. So there we go. Quan, are you arrogant, man? Do Texas music education seem arrogant? You arrogant, brother? I think you are, though.
I'm not.
Get the chicken off.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm over here killing it over here, by the way. But so pardon me. Are we arrogant? To a degree, we are. I'm gonna break the ice. I'm choosing violence all night. To a degree, we are. But I think it's not just a degree with arrogance. It's not a sense of arrogance. It's a sense of accountability. I think that's the big difference. The difference is, you go to certain states, they can do marching band all year. Like we're talking, they could do marching band all year. I believe brother Aaron, last show he said he went to LMEA, right?
Yeah, he did.
He's one band director, possibly 1 to 3 black band directors that I've ever heard went to LMEA. Now, and I know for a fact, February is parade season. Cool, right? Before I say the wrong date, Julian, could you tell me just before the show over when does LMEA take place?
Word. Give me a second.
Then no problem. So keep it pushing it forward. I think, but it's also a difference though too, and this may come across arrogant or whatever, but I'm gonna just say what it is. At the end of the day, the things that we go through as Texas band directors to ensure that we have the best musicians is one thing. For what some of these Black band directors are endeavoring through in these urban impoverished areas, to not use that as an excuse, even though we could. I'm gonna pop my collar just a little bit. Yes, I'm gonna pop my collar if I get my kids to go to region and I know they stay in the projects and they really can't play after a certain time. Yeah, I'm gonna have a sense of like pride because I have a kid who gets a 1 at state. Yeah. And that legitimately is able to adapt in any predicament that they can put him in. Prime example, I have a kid right now that they can learn by rote, right? Can play whatever hybrid instrument that you could think of. But they also can sit down and read the rudimental cookbook too. They can read whatever you put in front of them. And that's that. But also let's not act like our counterparts are not arrogant in themselves either. Because if you was a band director at Hebron High School, I guarantee you, they're arrogant. And they have the right to. If you're the number 1 6A band in marching band and in concert band, yeah. If you have a killing jazz band and jazz ensemble, yeah, you're gonna pop your collar a little different. But my thing is, okay, like I said on my post, if you're not gonna promote concert band, but where your jazz band at though? Where's the other aspects of it? You telling me marching band is that important when honestly marching band is only from August to the latest December? Come on, man. Like, we got to do better. That's all I'm saying.
Speaking of jazz band, I want to say shout out to the Norfolk State Jazz Band for winning the competition at Marcellus.
Yes. And I'm working very, very diligently. And I wanted to, I kind of was trying to save it to the end, but thank you, Portia.
Sorry.
No, you good. And I did look up LMEA. It's in April. It said like April and May because they have different regions that they separated in. So I think it's like North region is April, Southwest region is April and May, Southeast region is March, so on and so forth. So there we go. But yeah, I'm working very, very diligently for next show to have Miss Stephanie Sanders on the show. It is going to be her show. I told her that she is a GOAT in this game, and we do not give her the flowers that she deserves. So I told her that show will be her flowers. So let's everybody pray on that, and let's hopefully we can get Miss Sanders in for next week, and we will definitely talk about the jazz band and her success with the jazz band, her success when I was in the jazz band, when she would cuss me out in the early mornings at 7:00. So shout out to Miss Sanders, definitely. And then and then we got those dates in there. All right. So yeah, I think there is a lot of truth to what you were saying. I do think that because we are required to do specific things, that does put a little arrogance in us. And I think that sometimes we kind of forget that other places don't have the same requirements specifically like we do. And in those particular cases, is it fair that we judge them on the same level? And I'm not saying whether it is or whether it isn't fair. I'm just asking the panel, is it fair that we judge them on the same level? Should we judge them on the same level? Any thoughts on that?
Could you give me an example of what you mean by judging them on the same level?
So basically, we know that concert band, that we have to do concert and sight reading. We know that without a shadow of a doubt. That is an expectation that all Texas band directors are supposed to do. Everywhere that I've been inside of that Texas system, that has been the expectation, whether it is UIL, pre-UIL, marching UIL, you know that the idea is just that you got to do it. Whereas, like we were talking about LMEA, you don't have to necessarily do it. But as Texas educators, sometimes we tend to hold other areas to that same standard when a lot of people are just oblivious to it. So very similar to my guy Jared, who was in North Carolina, who when he went from North Carolina to Atlanta, he realized, oh shoot, like because he was telling me, like in North Carolina, you know, they have those adjudications and stuff like that, but they weren't required to go, so it wasn't a big thing. But when he got to Atlanta, it was different. They required him to go, so he had to focus differently than what he did in North Carolina. So is it fair for us to look at other people in different regions and be able to judge them on the same standard? So that's what I'm saying.
No. Well, in my opinion, I would say no. And let me preference this and say this. It's not about quote unquote UIL, like for me in particular. But the question is, am I growing the student? The year that we returned from COVID, there was a lot of people that didn't go to UIL. And many directors, black, white, and indifferent, literally said this was the most peaceful and teaching year that I had because I didn't have to focus on the competition. Not knocking it. But my question is, where is your standard? If we're talking about solo and sight reading, because we know the audition requirements for any institution, college that you're trying to get in band is what? Sight reading. So as an educator, if I'm not preparing my students for something that I know that they're about to walk into, well, to a degree, I failed my students. What I'm saying is, if you don't just say, hey, we're gonna have a sight reading day, you guys, and they never seen it. If a kid is a senior and never seen 6-8, come on, bro. Come on.
So let me start by saying I agree with you. But you already know that I'm always going to try to play devil's advocate in some kind of way, right?
Play it.
But the truth of the matter is, right? How many? And Rick used to say this all the time. You have Big Pookie who will walk into an audition with a bass drum and play Nobody Does It Better and get a scholarship. Mm-hmm. So if the level of rigor in certain places aren't required like that, and remember, in a lot of our institutions, we trying to save everybody. Come on, baby. We can take you, right? So if that's the case, if a kid doesn't have to be prepared like that, and a band director knows that, why prepare him like that?
Big Pookie ain't about to get no full ride.
You sure? Depending on where you go. We don't know that.
Then guess what? Then guess what? At the end of the day, regardless of whatever the standard the director is, what's the standard for yourself?
Right.
So like that's just what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna we got boys. I have two older boys, Ryan and Quincy. Both of my kids, they in college. When my kids, even to this day, they may fail on something, I still be like, damn, I wish I would have taught them this as a parent. So my thing is, as an educator, we know that the education system is flawed in itself. So if it's already messed up, you're telling me I'm not going to try to prepare you for the most optimum experience? I'm telling one of my students, she's a plus size young lady, beautiful heart, beautiful spirit, great tone and everything. But I told her in front of our mama, hey, love, you're going to have to start working out because you're not going to make it through a field show. That's love. That's a lesson. Because I don't want to see you. I don't want to go to your particular game, and then I'm looking for you, but then you on the side in the student section because you wasn't in shape to go through what that's about to be in front of you. That don't make sense to me, bro. Regardless of whatever the standard that institution is, I'm gonna prepare you for it. And you know this, and I'm gonna use you for example. You know good and damn well, Willow Ridge during Mr. Thornton time, because we really wear Letterman jackets the first semester, first year of college. After that, you're doing too much, right? When you had a blue and gray jacket with a W on it, with that eagle on the back, boys already knew you could play. Now, am I lying?
So
answer.
I'm trying to answer. I went to Norfolk. Didn't nobody know what that was.
I'm talking about in the South.
If I went to Southern, if I went to Jackson, if I went somewhere, yeah, you're right. I don't disagree with that.
Prime example. Also, let me continue. No. I'm gonna take it a step further
on this one, but go ahead.
No. Because if you like, even though real talk, we felt that St. Augustine, that there was other bands in New Orleans that was better than St. Augustine. You could not tell me the mentality that a St. Augustine person had, that they didn't feel like they was the best, or when they saw that marching 100, they didn't feel some type of way. Like, I'm just saying, because that was their standard, bro. You prepping these kids for real life. And if we not doing it because of a lackluster approach, because we feel like they could get in, that's a problem, bro.
Well, evidently now you can be a professional marching band player, according to these comments. So we are preparing them for later, evidently.
So I don't know who Kokomo Jackie is at PV. That Jackie mean you better be right. That's true. A prime example, if you had a box jacket and you was walking around another college campus, people thought you was cold, just like how Justin said about you with the DZ. I don't know if y'all had a DZ line jacket, but if you say you was a DZ, didn't they expect you to play? I'm sorry, Portia.
That's trash.
That's a little bit too. If you got that up here, what's wrong with you? No,
I got a box line jacket.
Take that off.
Sorry, that's trash.
Nah,
I come from. Well, I ain't gonna say I come from.
That's our Texas arrogantness.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
All right, that's how y'all crazy, because y'all sitting up there pledging sections. Nah, I'm good. Y'all can have that, because
somebody showed up with a Legion line jacket. We would fry them. Chopped, suey, steam broil, fried, toasted, everything. Take that off.
You're not. I'm sorry. I'm not lining up to play my horn. That's just not happening, bro. That is to me. And I'm sorry, we're on a completely different tangent right now. But to me, that will never ever compute for me. Especially if I come in and I'm cold and I'm better than some of your upperclassmen, and this upperclassman is trying to tell me I need to do. Man, get out of here, dog. See me on the horn, dog. Nah, no.
I feel you.
I'm good.
So the caveat is, yes, I think. Well, I can only speak for my section and what I actually know about. We didn't have line jackets, but it was like Pero. That was, you know what I'm saying? Like each section had their own Pero. Now, whatever that means, however you got that, we're not talking about that.
Oh, the Silkats get nice stuff every year. We're going to give you some paraphernalia. But what I'm telling you is, it ain't going to be.
It ain't going to be no numbers.
No, for sure.
We're not going to show up.
I'm wearing mine next week.
Now your behold number is a little different, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Gotcha.
That's some inside stuff.
Not so how you become a dizzy, Justin.
You about to call him Simon?
Well, I was. It was coming out.
I mean, if you want to know, pick up the horn, get into the section, and when you become one, then you'll know. There we go. But anyway, going back to the conversation though, so there's two things that you said, Quan, that I slightly disagree with. Slightly. First of all, when you brought up the whole Willow Ridge thing and the jacket and so on and so forth, you're also talking about an era of band that was completely different. Let's keep it a buck.
What do you mean?
Because
Everybody think they good now.
right, when you bring up Mr. Thornton and his expectation, let's be real. If you go across the city during the time of Mr. Thornton, dang near everybody had expectations high. Now let's be real. Mr. Thornton did it on a completely different level than I've seen anywhere. But the expectation for music and education in Black bands specifically, which is one of the things that I did want to talk about today, but we're gonna get into that in a minute, was completely different. It just was. So I just think that, you know, it's that particular example to me doesn't sit in the same vein as what we're talking about now, because back during those times, marching band wasn't the thing that took precedent. Now we have a community of people, students, band directors, so on and so forth, who believe that marching band is in a lot of cases, I ain't gonna say, well, maybe a lot of cases are the end all be all. It is. Remember, marching band is, the way we do it is the Black thing, and concert band is the white thing. And you know what I'm saying? So that's the culture that we're living in. And I'm not gonna say that there are people who didn't think that back in the day, but I can tell you what, they didn't voice that opinion too often. They did what they were supposed to do.
Well, see, but I have to respectfully disagree, because I feel like the only ones that are pushing that narrative that marching band is the end all or be all it's a small silo of people that are the loudest. So people think that their opinion matters the most, when it really doesn't. Because if that opinion matters the most, then there wouldn't be aspects of TMEA and the concerts and different things going on. There wouldn't be the gentleman that you met that has the middle school that's playing grade 5 and grade 6 music. There wouldn't, like, I wouldn't be doing it, because honestly, I have every excuse to be like, nah, I don't want to do that either. What's the difference? What's the difference from Crystal when she was doing it? What's the difference between when you was doing it, Julian? What's the difference? So I mean, I feel you. Like, I look at Will Allen. Will Allen has a whole initiative and has concert and marching band aspects too. So I think it's just it's a small group, but that group is loud.
But I'm gonna tell you, it hasn't been to now that I even heard people call concert band white. I've never heard that before. I think that's crazy. Even at my high school, like when the last football game happened, because our team was sorry, we went straight into, they transitioned to concert season. We started doing indoor competitions and winter guard and stuff like that, because that was the way of the world. And nobody, to my knowledge, complained about it or said they wanted to continue to do marching band. So it wasn't for me until recent years that I heard that people feel like concert band and all that other stuff is white.
But people feel like that, and I blame the education system of not feeding the kids properly from the middle school. Because if your first introduction in middle school is to sit down and play and make a great sound, then the reward was to go to marching band, and then you march your years. But then I could know how to cut it off and sit down and for concert band in the spring. Now the rules may be different now, but when I first met Dr. Thomas, Prof. Thomas, Nicholas Thomas, I believe he's still the assistant band director at FAMU. He's still there, right? I believe he's still there. Yeah.
From what I know, yeah.
Yeah. So when I first met him, when he first was at PV, he was the band director at Southwest DeKalb during, some of their prime years. And I asked him, like, bro, how did you get that band at Will? He was like, well, the system of Atlanta at that time was you could not march. You had to start marching in high school in 9th grade. There was no marching middle schools or anything like that. You sat down and you learned how to play from 6th to 8th grade. And people were excited and enthused about being in the marching band. So, but once the feeder patterns break down, again, once you break down that system, that's what you have happen. So now you got certain marching band middle schools, or you have certain kids that I don't knock community lines or community organizations, but some of those things at the end of the day, you're already giving somebody young a quick fix for something that if you just held on just a little bit longer, they possibly could have enjoyed the full gambit of it. So,
yeah. Okay. Brother Amos, I saw your comment. I want to pick up on that, but I want to get to the next topic. And then in the same vein, I want to pick up on what you said. So first of all, welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversation about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Man, y'all go ahead and smash that like daddy right now, man. Don't even wait on it. Just touch it. All right. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the Passionate Network. I wasn't going there, Portia. I saw the miles. Subscribe to the Passionate Network and turn on notifications. This episode will be up on all your podcast networks. Just type in Talk That Talk, except for on Apple Podcast, where you can type in Real Talk That Talk. So technically, this is the last one, but I do have another one. But it depends on how long we go through this. But I may still bring it up anyway because it's something I do want to talk about very quickly. All right, so I teach marching band. Excuse me, I teach during marching band. So what's wrong with me doing marching band all year? That's the question. I teach during marching band because this is one of the things that I've heard people say. I teach during marching band. So what's wrong with me doing marching band all year? All right. And then this is going to help segue into Brother Amos's comment. So everybody started first already. Let me give Quan a chance to get one more bite. Maya, go ahead and take this one.
Child, I'm just as confused because what? Okay, so they're saying that they teach things aside from quote unquote marching band fundamentals or whatever during marching band season. So what's wrong with them continuing?
Essentially, yeah. So the idea is the argument typically is in a lot of cases that concert band is where you get a lot of the fundamentals where people are able to grow and get better, so on and so forth. Sure. And I've seen a lot of people saying, I teach during the marching band. I'm giving the fundamentals in marching band. So what's wrong with me continuing to do marching band throughout the year? I hope that helped to break it down a little bit.
I mean, I feel you. I'm trying to figure out how do I feel about this because there's a time and a place for everything. During concert band season, during spring semester or what have you, that's not what the focus is. Yes, you may be teaching, but are you really applying? I feel like the application, the true development, the being able to take time to really facilitate those needs, those fundamentals, and really carry those out is what happens in the spring semester. And then when you start moving past your first season, that's how you start to build to where hopefully when you end your time from when you started, you're a much better musician, you're a much better artist, you're a much better what have you. Quan hit on it earlier. During marching band season, you moving like this. You know what I'm saying? Like you may touch on the things, but you're not really hitting home. You're not driving it home. You don't have you still practicing, right? When we want to talk about the difference between practice and rehearsal, whatever the case may be, you don't have time to really stick that thing. Spring semester is tough. Okay, you made it weird because I was gonna keep on going. Spring semester is when you really take those tidbits that you have in fall and you really expound upon those, and then that continues on as you develop and now you transition from being a crab or whatever the case may be until your senior, super senior, and on out the door, whatever that looks like for you. So. I mean, I think that's very, you think it's small, you need to be thinking big. Okay. If that's what you're going to, and then it also goes to tough again. You see what I'm saying? It don't even be me.
That was fun. That wasn't me that time.
But like, okay, so even I guess we can have a conversation when it comes to being able to have the proper staff. Now that has its own little access bullet points, but I don't know. I just think that's weird. That's small thinking. That's not doing anything for the fact of enhancement, the fact of development, and And as everyone has said, actually building these people or children or whatever you want to call them, adults, building these people as musicians and letting them be able to entertain, but also have something of a foundation.
Okay. Quan, I teach during marching band. So what's wrong with me doing marching band all year? Uh-oh. You muted, brother. You muted. You muted.
Sorry, it's my bad. If you're bringing the Arbin book out there on the marching band field, cool. If you can teach, I see my good brother Justin / Simon. If that piece we heard at Midwest, Elegy for Young Americans, if you could bring that out there, cool. If you can play "O Come Sunday" on the marching band field, that's cool too. If you can do Deep River by Ben Horn out there, shout out to my guy. If you can do that, awesome. But 9 out of 10, you can. It's a different setting. The goal of being an educator is to ensure that your student can be adaptable in any setting. Like I'm not understanding. When you left the house, didn't your mama say, "You better not embarrass me"? Didn't your mama say, "You better know how to act"? Like, come on now. Yeah, your mama said that, bro. I know mine.
But you're talking about my mama.
Okay, well, look, your mama. Your mama ain't might even told you that. My mama told me that.
But let's keep it a buck though, bro. Like there are people who send their kids to school and the kid will slap a teacher and the parent won't say nothing. You see what I'm saying? Like you know that. So standards are different in different places. So
and guess what? And in regards to this that everybody is saying, and then Justin said you can most definitely can. Okay, you can play Elegy for Young Americans on the field too. With this with what's going on, who's really going to appreciate it though? Being honest, can you really like? I think what's most frustrating about it all, we're not diminishing marching band. We're not, but it shouldn't be the only thing. That's all we're saying, and I don't understand that. It's like. I saw a comment earlier about like Winter Guard, but guess what? Most people that do Winter Guard, those are musicians that still can translate and still adapt in what? The concert band setting. And the reason why I can say that is because myself and Julian have seen those kids that do it. We've seen the difference with the front ensemble because you can play pit instruments and DCI on marching band and translate it in concert band. Like I don't know, bro. I don't know. You can't. There's certain time. There's certain aspect of time that you need to take while you're sitting down instead of standing up, locked up, through marching band. That's all. I'm gonna just leave it at that.
Okay. Before I go to Portia, I want to address Brother Jack. First of all, caption, not capture, caption. CAPTION. But the other thing is to answer your question, and I'm gonna be brutally honest. There's a level of education that's going on in drum corps, specifically when it's dealing with fundamentals, pedagogy, and so on and so forth. That ain't really happening in a lot of marching band rooms. I mean, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm not even trying to be funny. Not to mention the level of time that is spent when you're dealing with drum corps, because you're dealing with your camps that you have throughout the year periodically, and then you're also dealing with spring training where you're actually living, moved in, you wake up and you're getting fundamentals. You eat breakfast. You wake up, you eat breakfast, you get fundamentals. From the fundamentals, you go to lunch and you come back and you get fundamentals. And then you go to dinner and then you come back and you get fundamentals. So there is a level of education that is happening in DCI. And I'll put it in a completely different way. I never marched DCI ever in my life. I was blessed by God to be able to not only tech for a drum corps, but be a caption head for a drum corps for 2 years. I learned more in those 3 years that I did drum corps than I ever learned sitting inside a marching band room. And that is no disregard to any one of the educators that I've ever been under. No disregard to them. So that's just to kind of answer that question. So yeah. Portia, I'm sorry. What were you gonna say?
I can only speak from my experiences at Norfolk State. And what I'm gonna say is we're running from gig to gig to gig to gig. So I don't know what kind of time y'all got, but we working on the stuff we got to do for the next gig. I mean, when Mr. Adams would go off on some tangents, and even I would learn some things when he went down those rabbit holes. But as far as real teaching, that's really not the time. If you correcting something, it's with the music that is part of this next gig. So they're not learning anything outside of what you need to prepare for the gig. You might throw some nuggets in there while we're preparing for the gig, but as far as the separate teaching outside of how it applies to this marching band song, I don't know that that's happening. The other question that I have is, don't you have to audition for DCI?
Absolutely. And
So
when you audition for
I don't
DCI,
even know if we comparing apples to apples.
you're not, because it is some old people that I done seen audition for DCI that ain't got cut quick through audition.
And guess what? Them people paying, depending on what class, if it's a world class one, you possibly paying maybe 4 or 5 G's. You're gonna pay for your own flight to sleep in the gym with some of the greatest musicians that had private lessons their whole life to warm up almost 8 hours.
So what I'm saying is we're not comparing apples to apples. The needs are different. If I'm paying my money, I'm gonna put my best foot forward. I've probably already invested in this. I can't speak for nobody else, but that these HBCUs, you're getting a mixed bag. So when do you invest in those levels? You can't do it in that marching band room. When do you invest in getting your worst player up to the next level, whatever that is for them? Where does that happen? It cannot happen while we're preparing for that next gig. That's just not a reality.
Right.
But that's all.
So we just gonna keep it a buck, right? We're just gonna keep it 1,000. When I got to PV, I didn't know how to read music. we just gonna like, I low key Devin Miles that thing. And then I just I like real talk. I knew my rudiments well enough to get through my audition. Mr. Kelvin did all he could. After that, my Professor Jones, handed me my first piece that I need to play for my recital. Not recital, but what you call that, Julian, when you got to perform like, Tuesday or Thursday, but like, I had to perform.
We called it performance workshop, but
yeah, so like performance workshop for my applied lesson. And it was
I was paying attention, but in my brain I was just hearing Prof. Jones saying, "Hey boss, take this book, B. Just take the book."
Yeah. So but low key he was like, it was I can't remember the piece, but it was a concert snare piece that was accompanied by a piano. And I couldn't even get through it. And he was like, boss, we gonna work through this. Literally, he made me buy a Lewis Belson book in 4/4 common time. He had me with beginner books, and he literally told me, you need to come here every day, and you need to have mastered about 10 pages of this book. He made me buy 7 books that I use throughout my time. Seminar, that's it. 7 books that I used throughout my time at Prairie View that I still have to this day. At the end of the day, like, that's how I grew to be the band director that I am today. Having conversations with Julian, with Rick, and all the other people that mentor me. outside, and we never talk about marching band. We talk about how to get a better tone. And the thing about it is, I'm humble enough to where I ask Portia, like, Portia, hey, when it comes to this auxiliary, I don't know it, love. Can you help me with these uniforms? She said, I'm gonna help you. Like, that's what you do, so that every kid can be a benefit from the program. But if you not, you're being selfish as hell. Because the truth is this: they may be a cold, like 3 or 4 cold people per section per class that come to your band and the HBCU world. The whole band not just cold, bro. And if you say that, you lie. Because it may be a cold player, but he can't read. So that dude that's decent on the horn, or maybe trash, maybe a better reader than him. Don't he help him out? Like when we talk about teaching fundamentals, like, yes, you teach the fundamentals, but then there's a level where you want to push them ahead. You're not going to bring the Arbin book on the marching band field. You're not. You can't work on solo and ensemble and trios and quartets on the marching band field. You're not, bro. That's a time and a place for it, like Maya said. Like, damn.
I don't know. That thought process is just crazy to me. Like, there's no way that one person is going to reach their greatest potential. You know what I'm saying? By just being able to have some tidbits here and there, no matter what it is. Your favorite athlete's favorite athlete didn't become who they were by just getting some little hints or whatever the case may be during the weekly practice. There's a reason why there's an off season. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, they're taking time to rest, but they also doing drills and I don't know, suicide, whatever the folks are doing. Okay, they doing their private lessons, they doing their trainings, and whatever the case may be. It doesn't matter what your craft is, whether it's sports, music, dance, what have you. I myself, even when I got to PV and throughout PV, being forced to have to do classic dance ensemble, without a doubt, I hated every moment of it when I was doing it. But if I'll be a liar to say that next season I wasn't stronger on my leg than I had ever been, that my center and my core was not more developed, because we took the time to really nitpick and pick apart what needed to be done to grow and develop each one of us, grow our placements, to grow everything that matters. When it comes time to jig and jive, that stuff comes from somewhere. And it's not, it don't take 5 or 10 minutes to go through it and perfect it. Right? So I think that's crazy to think that, oh, like by learning something or hearing it 1 or 2 times or within a week while I'm working on trying to learn this new show, and doing all these different things that come along with band season, not to mention the 2 performances that we got during the week because the administration said, come do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, there's no time in which that you're really going to develop into your truest potential and your top tierness, whatever that looks like, by doing it.
Okay. So I really am interested in this conversation I'm having with Brother Jack. When I put the link up, man, if you could click in, because I really want to have that conversation with you and really try to get to understanding of what you're asking. So 2 things. I have really one more topic, but I have this last question that's not necessarily a topic, but it may form into that depending on how you answer the question. So here we go. Because it seems like a lot of people are advocating for marching band, or it may just be a let live kind of situation. Like, that's what they do, so leave them alone. I think that's kind of what it is, or what I believe. But here's my question: what specifically is wrong with the concert band part of it? Because I think we talk about a lot about why we see there's a problem with continuing marching band, but what is wrong with concert band? Specifically, the fact that people don't necessarily see it being something that needs to be quote unquote forced, as it was said earlier, or something that needs to, I guess, pull away from the marching band. So what specifically is wrong with concert band?
Who you asking? Because I don't understand the argument.
It's more or less a rhetorical question.
No.
It's open for anybody to answer though.
It's not right. It's not loud and ignorant.
It ain't ethnic
it's
enough.
Too dignified. It's too structured. It's too within a box, right? It's not. It ain't gonna have me bent over, booty shaking on 50. You know what I'm saying, or whatever that looks like. So it's not entertaining. There's no value in it because it's not all loud, hoorah, flamboyant, what have you. So it takes a back seat in terms of being necessary or beneficial because it's not all rah-rah. I mean, that's not my personal opinion, but
I got to dress up to go to Chrysler Hall when the Legion in the stadium. I can wear whatever I want to.
Tough.
Y'all want to hear mine?
I was about to say it's Quan asleep.
Go ahead, Quan. Go ahead. He finna.
I'm not asleep, but I just feel like you remember. Y'all know if you've been teaching or you've been dealing with kids. You remember that kid who may struggle with like real reading when you had to read around the classroom, and then when they get to them, they get an attitude and be like, "Man, this shit's stupid." That's how I look at some people that's arguing about it. Because what's the difference? If you love marching, if you love music, what's the difference? If you want to be great, why? This what I don't understand, bro. How sometimes, and this is not everybody, but if where I'm from, a hit hound to holler. At the end of the day, what I don't get is how you just want to be great in one area. That's what I don't get. Like the problem that I have is this. How great we claim our HBCUs to be. When it comes to band, we only know one aspect of it. But it was a point that some of these great HBCUs and institutions had great jazz bands, had great concert chorales, had great, other things outside that they could market that wasn't just for the quote unquote band head. One of my clarinet players, she graduated from here and she went to Howard, but she had to come back home for various reasons. She literally said, "Mr. Mitchell, can I just get like a full concert band scholarship? I just love to play my clarinet, my bass clarinet." She was teaching herself how to play saxophone. Like, can I just do that? Well, what about those kids? Like, that's what I'm saying. If I like smoked grilled chicken, hear the food analogy, Luke. If I like smoked grilled chicken, but you telling me, well, I gotta eat fried, well, now you're messing up my dietary needs. You know what I'm saying? Like why? If you want to do marching band, go ahead and do your thing. But as a director of bands, I know that you're going to get more money if you can do both. That's all I'm saying. So, regardless of whatever the standard is, that's my standard. I'm going to teach you and prep you for everything. And then lastly, I'm going to say this. Many times kids don't know what they're missing until you expose them either. How do you know, the very first jazz tune I fell in love with was All Blues by Miles Davis because Prof. Edwards made us play it.
We played it in jazz band at Willow Ridge. Yes, sir. Go ahead. Which
then made me purchase the Miles Davis album and Flamenco Sketches. I love that too. Rick and Julian put me on Thad Jones. But there's other aspects of music. If I wasn't exposed to Bach's Sacred Heart, how would I have discovered it? Or Bach's Oh Jesus, I believe it's Oh Jesus, My Sweet Anguish.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you get that? Because if I was just one-minded, the only people that I would listen to is Soulja Slim, Cash Money, from
Boosie.
9-9 in the back and Boosie to this day. That's it. But and maybe I just have a high standard for who we are as a people, because I feel like you should be able to have a conversation with the president of the United States, as well as you should talk to the dope boy that stand in front of the trap house, and all in between, if that's what you choose to do. John Steps is another one. Like it wasn't just one aspect. People don't even realize that PV played his first rap song in 95. The band, the Marching Storm, was created, I believe, in 80, like 87, like around there, 87, 88. Yeah. So you telling me from 80 something to 95, they've only played standards? 95, Swamp, that was the first rap song. But that's all I'm saying. Like, now it's just like we talk about tradition, but you just wipe it away. Just saying, man.
You do it every time. You do it every time. All right. I want to go ahead and I'm gonna tell you in a minute. I want to go ahead and put the link in the chat. I do want to give this last topic. It probably won't go that far, but I do want to talk about it very quickly, because this was the second half of what I want to talk about, but we got further into the concert band, marching band thing. There is, well, first of all, let me do it this way. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversation about band, HBCU, band culture, music education, and more. Go ahead and tap that like daddy. Or you can hit the dislike. I keep telling you, it don't matter either way, but we just trying to get y'all to help that YouTube algorithm. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the Passionate Network and turn on notifications. This episode will be up on all your podcasts and networks. Just type in Talk That Talk, except for on Apple Podcasts, where you can type in Real Talk That Talk. After this, after I let this last question go, I'm going to put the link inside the chat. If you want to come in and talk that talk with us, come on, man. I think this is and I guess this is going to happen every year around this time, and I guess we'll bring it up. But I always think this is a really interesting topic, because I do have my own personal opinion, but I do enjoy hearing different perspectives, because without those different perspectives, it helps to inform and educate us all. So I do appreciate the different perspectives. So let me give out the topic first. There is this YouTube page that I accidentally, and I say that wholeheartedly, accidentally bumped into. The name of the YouTube page, and I gave it to Quan. I don't even know if he went perusing on that page or not. The name is DJ Arnold. DJ, capital D, capital J, space Arnold. This man has 498 subscribers. But the videos that he has on here are so dope. He has the original, the first Honda Battle of the Bands from beginning to end on there. He has the mass band. He has every band performing. And I was looking at it like, yo, I have never seen this, because the first time I went to Honda was in 05. That was the first time I went. It was after I crossed KK Sound, so I was like, I was happy. I mean, I ain't crossing 05, but I'm just saying, spring 05. I was crossing 04. But my point is that I had just crossed, so I'd never seen Honda. And he had it on there. I'm looking on his page now. He has Winston-Salem versus Norfolk State in 93. Like, he has some videos I have never seen. But the reason why I'm bringing this man's page up, and for those of you guys, as a matter of fact, I'll do this. I will go ahead and share the screen. Let me see. Share. I'm doing this like I'm on a Zoom right now. Share my screen here. No, wrong one. Here it is. Boom. So if y'all can see this man has a lot of super dope stuff on his page. DJ Arnold, the DJ, the video master. So if y'all have never seen his page, man, go check out his page because he has it's this FAMU documentary. And one of the things that I saw in that FAMU documentary that I thought was so dope, for them back in the day, it used to be a audition process. The crabs would come to camp for like 5 days, and then you would audition at the end. And if you ain't make it, you just got cut. You didn't make the 100. It was tight. And on this video, it was people who got cut and they were sitting there with the boohoo face. I'm telling you, it was super dope. But my whole reason for bringing this up is this particular point. As I was watching the Honda Battle of the Bands, some of the bands that we consider small were pretty big. And what I'm trying to figure out as I go through and I peruse some of these videos, because I'm looking at them off and on. And this is just the question. And I'm just gonna throw this out here because this is something that really was on my mind as I'm watching this. What happened to band? And I know that seems like a super crazy question, but if you go and you watch those videos, just like I have been watching those videos, that was the first thing that popped in my head. What happened to band? Very simple question. So anybody can take it first while I put the link in the chat.
People don't want to work for things anymore. At least that's my opinion. It's not a quick fix. We've moved towards instant gratification. When my parents were raising me, they were like, anything you want won't come easy. Anything that you're going to be great at, you have to work for. And so that is a complete shift for the students that show up in Norfolk now. We got to practice every day. I'll never get past that. So I think there's been a shift. Our parents were, you got to work hard. You need to, do certain things in order to accomplish things. Now it's, how can I help my baby get things faster and better than I had them? But what that translates into is, I'm not expecting that I should have to work hard for the things that I need because I haven't had to do that in general. Growing up, everybody get a participation trophy. Everybody get a pat on the back. Everybody's an all-star. So it's not fun anymore. I see, I follow a lot of local band directors around here, and they'll say the kids will quit because they want to go to work because they want nice shoes. Or they'll quit because they don't want to have to come to practice every day. They'll quit because any number of reasons. And to me, it has a lot to do with people want instant gratification. They want things fast for all of the reasons that are saying in the comments. Like we have access to everything fast. So our expectation is everything that we do in life is done fast. So anything that takes me time is crazy. Like, Julian, you brought something back. When I auditioned to be a Silkette, you auditioned the Friday before Family and Friends Day. That means you did the whole band camp and you don't find out today whether you made it or not. Yes. That's how it worked. And so it was tight. You and been in here, blood, sweating, tearsing it out, and crying and snotting. And these my sisters, they're not gonna be your sisters because you out of here. And that was just the process back then. So I don't know that you had to go. It wasn't you audition, you didn't make band camp, you were spared band camp. No, you had to go through that whole band camp, learn the way of the Legion, get up, do everything that everybody else did, and then you audition and found out whether you were going to be a part of the section or the Legion for that season.
Wasn't it the same with Hot Ice?
Mm-hmm. I think. I don't know. All that was a fog. I was in my own little world,
You're
especially
right. You're right.
in
You're
06. I don't know. I was trying to get there myself.
right. All right. All right. Maya, Quan, what happened to band?
I mean, there's a couple different things. One, shit, these hoes is weak, okay?
Oh, Maya chose violence.
I mean, I don't really know what else to say. I mean, it is what it is. Two, okay, so the less ignorant, right? Like Portia said, instant gratification, right? So now we have so much access to things, and we've had the ability to have access to things quickly. Part of the ambiance, a part of the love for the HBCU experience or marching band experience or whatever is going to that game on Saturday night, Friday night, whatever the case may be, and seeing it right there live or what have you. If you didn't go, you missed it, right? So that was part of the fun. That was part of the excitement behind it, whether you was on the field or not, to my belief. Now, I mean, all I gotta do is sit at home. As it happens, I'm going to see it as it happens. I don't have to work for anything. I don't have to do anything about it. Two, in that same aspect, someone hit on it earlier. I think Quan hit on it earlier, like exposure, right? So not necessarily saying it's a bad thing, but now at younger ages, we're exposed to more things of interest. So I think in some of that regard, with technology or being able to make $100 million for you even become 21 or whatever, why would I go do this and that and the third when I can just go do my YouTube videos or what have you and be a millionaire and I ain't got to go to school or whatever? I think that has something to do with it too. But yeah, also these hoes are sweet. It's just
Ooh, child.
Sometimes, listen, you just gotta let go and let God at this point, because I don't even know what
it's just so different. I don't know how to even explain it all, but it is very, very different.
Right. And it was different when I was in school. So I can only imagine how different it is now and how different it will be in the next 5 to 10 years.
Pray for me. Okay. Pray for me.
Y'all better be treading the water like hell, because I don't know how you gonna keep your head above it in this day and age, child.
I'm never getting past. We gotta practice every day.
That's crazy.
That's still the one that's sitting on your heart real hard. I don't think you'll ever lose that one. But I will say this before Quan goes, and I'm about to mess with Justin a little bit. Going to DJ Arnold's page made me realize how super saturated the market for band is now, because quality stuff like that, and I'm not saying that the stuff that now as far as video production is not quality, but stuff like that, if you didn't have this man's tape back in the day and you weren't, it was tight. You ain't catch it. If you weren't in that stands and you ain't had this dude tape and he ain't passing around, you ain't get it. So but go ahead, Quan. What's happening, bro?
Huh? What's happening to band? So a few things happen to band. So I've always stated on this show, the infrastructure. If you cut off a middle school, what you think your high school gonna be, and if you cut off the high school and middle school, what you think your college is going to be. So that's number one. I've always said that. So that's number one. Number two, people already feel like they belong. That's the problem. Like people, like, you can say what you want. And I do agree with you, Julian, when you say about, having access to the tape. I had a few DVDs. The one DVD that I actually called North Carolina A&T, they had 2 DVDs they had. And it was the Bulldog on the front. And it was like various games. Then it showed sectionals. That's how I first heard of Norfolk. And I was like, they had real gym battles, right? And on that DVD, Cold Steel wasn't the Cold Steel of today, but they had like orange, like jail suits or something like that.
That was the year they killed MD. And was on trial for the murder.
Oh, okay.
Was that what was that 09?
No.
I was
like old 03, 04, or something like that. That was way back in the day.
I wasn't percussion.
Oh, 03, 04 is way back in the day.
I mean, it's almost 20 years ago.
It's 20 years. It's 20 years.
We the same age, y'all.
Nah, I'm stressed. That's stressful. Okay. That's a lot.
So back then you did. So they had DVDs. Barbetta Freeman, she's the reason why I received PV. I'm sorry, Chris. Sorry. PV is the reason why Barbetta Freeman is the reason why I had PVs, because PV never had a media team like they should, right? But I had a few Cotton Bowl videos. I had the Steve Harvey show of the box, and then I had the box CD DVD. And then Southern was always ahead of their time because they had a human jukebox page where they would sell the DVDs and have the audio files from Windows Media Player back in the day. Now you have kids that have access to some of these band directors, and because some, not all, and I get it, people want numbers, they oversaturate their band with anybody. Oh, we'll teach you how to play. It's cool. Just come on. So how you gonna have a quote unquote audition requirement when if I don't get the money here, I could go here? It don't matter. Instead of having quality players, bro. So infrastructure, and you got kids that already feel like they in. So the band director chose me. So you can't really tell me nothing. So
yeah, because I'm gonna tell y'all, these big reveals of competing schools for band now, and you putting on hats and choosing schools, that's a lot for me.
You know what? I don't trip on that part.
Cool. I thought it was pretty cool.
I don't trip on that part. I don't either. But
it was a lot. And I'm speaking about one specifically, but I won't go into details. That was a lot.
I'm gonna say this: as I've gotten older and I've seen the movie Drumline, you know, we used to think Sean was a hater. Sean really did have a lot of great.
He had some valid points, but it was a little bit of hate.
It was a little bit hated. It was a little bit hated
in there. He had some valid points, but it was some hate in there too.
So this person, brother Rodriguez, that say you got 300-piece band and only 180 people playing.
Oh, that's reality.
Facts.
You know, some people do anything to put bodies in them seats.
The Dr. Lee tell you how you sat on my couch. I don't give a damn if you sat on your mama couch.
All right. So yeah, I just, like I said, I've seen a lot of some of his subscribers go up. So you know, check out his videos, man. I think his videos are super dope. I'm just going back and perusing through, because what I'm finding out is he has the Big Southern Classic performance, because I didn't even know it was a performance. Like, I thought they were just shooting video. Like, he has the Big Southern Classic performance from Drumline, the actual performance. So I like I said, I just think is some of the stuff he has on here is like super dope, man. He has Jackson State from 79 to 83. So and other people were bringing up other people too. Like, I think Tape Master is dope. But you know, I had never run across this brother before, so I think his stuff is great. Let me go ahead and bring the first person in. I'm gonna let y'all know we hit the 2-hour mark, so we're gonna try to rush through these. All right, because Portia want to go night, and Quan gotta get in his car, so it's a lot going on. So let's try to matter of fact, let's try to keep it down. 5 minutes good for everybody? 5 minutes? 5 minutes? Do we need to cut it shorter than that?
Oh no, I'm good.
Okay. All right, here we go. Let's bring him in first. Come on, brother Simon, what you got?
Oh man. Great lot tonight. There's a few things I want to say. From the topic of this whole debacle about the concert band and the marching band, I'm gonna just say that debate on Facebook, it wasn't college. It was all about high school. So like I think we could just diminish whatever we was talking about college and colleges should be doing concert band. So it was high school. My thing is just with that, and like I said in the comments, maybe because I had a great band, probably the greatest band ever. Um, Even in marching band, he always found points in the music to point us out to teach us something that probably had something to do with concert band or some type of fundamental. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, y'all see this run right here? This is the same run as in Stars and Stripes. It just may be like 2 or 3 measures short. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I was like. It shouldn't matter the style of music that you play. Now, with that debate that happened on Facebook Loop, I just think that you didn't see like the where it came from. It really came from a lot of band directors who have trash marching bands, or who have marching bands that just probably couldn't participate in the Mardi Gras parade. So they're gonna say, like we should be doing concert band right now. Well, y'all know that's our culture. And like I'm strong to say, if you're at college, you're not considering coming to Mardi Gras, you're stupid and you're just missing out on a big recruiting tool. You know what I'm saying? Nevertheless, that's how that whole thing got started. We know that's how you do concert band in the spring season, but different bands do different things. So whatever floats your boat. I'm gonna also say, as far as band directors on the high school level, because y'all watching this, do whatever suits your band. Let's say if you have a lot of these schools that's starting up bands and you trying to teach bands from going from corp style to like show style, and you're trying to embed the culture in them. You know what I'm saying? That may take a little longer than a band that's already been culture. You know what I'm saying? So if that means teaching them marching band 8 to 5 the whole year round, that's what you had to do during your season. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna just say whatever floats your boat. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever does better for your kids to do that. And we always say like concert band, but there's different styles of music that we play. Why? I know we from New Orleans, we talk about jazz a lot. Jazz is a different form of music. You know what I'm saying? It's not the easiest thing to play. Did you hear Tennessee State's jazz band Midwest? That's next level. So they're not doing concert, but they're doing jazz. So what about that? It's a different form of music. I just think that whole thing got misconstrued about what the debate was. Yes, I do think you should teach concert music. You should teach other forms of music. But at the end of the day, I think everybody have different situations. Luke, how you had said, do y'all banners in Texas look down on people who don't have to participate in a state concert festival? If that's not required in somebody's state, is it their fault that they're not participating? Or some people who just don't even have festival? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I hate when people try to point the finger at what another person is doing, when sometimes like it would suck to me if your concert band is all world, but your marching band sucks. That don't even make sense to me. You know, since marching band so easy. You know what I'm saying? Or I get it if you're a marching band, he's a marching band for a round and you don't do concert band at all and you get flack for it. I understand, but everybody have different situations is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? And like I'm always state, since we always trying to throw the bucket of shit on marching band music, type in your favorite college or your favorite HBCU or your favorite, especially HBCU band on YouTube or anywhere online. Let me know what concert band piece pop up. Just let me know. And that's my time on it. I just feel like I knew where it happened and I seen it and how the debate got started, but it was a bunch of BS that was going around on how this whole debate got started, when y'all know that these bands, we had better bands in January and February. So you want all the colleges that participate in the better band to still be focusing on concert music than what they about to get paid for? I don't know. It was just a reach, and they used the concert band realm to try to rub it in the face, because either the ones who just didn't get picked to do it or the ones who just probably just didn't participate in the marching band event. So that's my time on it. I know I rambled a lot, but yeah, it made me a little like, yeah, y'all was a BS.
No, you good. So my thing is this, like, and I'm gonna just say it, and I know I said it before. For me, it doesn't necessarily have to be concert band. If you default to jazz band, that's fine. I don't have a problem. I mean, personally, as Black people, I don't understand why we don't default to jazz band anyway. But either way, I'm just saying offer something different that will allow those music education students or those music students to be well-rounded and well-versed and get another level of education besides just marching band. That's if like I said, if the default is jazz band, by all means, go ahead and take it. Now if you can squeeze all three in there, then hell, do it.
You ever heard of Class Got Brass?
Huh?
You ever heard of Class Got Brass?
Mm-mm.
Just when you get a chance, type it on my YouTube channel. It's a brass band concert, and it was like a $15,000 prize for like the different high schoolers and middle schools that can create brass bands and play brass and jazz music. You know what I'm saying? That was the point that was given. They try to focus so much on the concert and it's different forms of music since we're trying to be so damn diverse. It's multiple forms of music, and y'all just want to blame it on why they're not doing a concert. It's other people have different strokes for different folks. So I get what you're saying, Luke. Be diverse, but everybody's situation don't be the same. You know what I'm saying? Bands are different. It was mainly just because of the band that participated in Mardi Gras and these Battle of the Bands in January and February that was getting a lot of the flack about, like, why y'all still doing marching band in the spring? Because that's what they got to do to get money. So I feel you. But yeah, I feel you.
But can I just make this? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna make this comment. I don't think it was just about the people in the city, bro, because that's been a standard since 40, 50 years ago. Like, I don't think it's that. I think the bottom line is, for what a lot of people were saying on the other side, all it was saying was, well, like Julian was saying, what's the alternative? And then my thing is, if you have those type of numbers, what are the other various ensembles that you could create? Like, if you're saying, well, there was a brass band competition, well, that's awesome too. But there are certain, honestly, standards that, honestly, we should be preaching all year round. We should be preaching fundamentals all year round. We should be preaching jazz band all year round. But the bottom line is, a lot of these colleges and universities are not pushing concert band or even jazz band, if that's the case.
I
Like
don't
they
know
should
who
marching
not
band.
though. Like I can't name a college that I don't know. I would say that the big college that everybody always get the rap for, or like the K have their 5th annual high school concert competition. I mean, adjudication situation coming up, and the concert band's the truth. You know what I'm saying? So the ones that matter are even, I'm gonna say the ones that besides like Dega maybe, are like Wilberforce, because they fairly new. And I'm pretty sure they have a concert band piece. I don't know no college that don't do the concert. I mean, if so, let me know what colleges that don't participate or don't have a concert band. Now, to Julian's thing, it may not get highlighted. You know what I'm saying? That may be a thing. Now, you say people don't highlight concert bands as much as they do. I can't argue with you that at all. But I don't know no college that really don't have some type of concert band. If so, like I see why y'all be upset at it, but I don't know none, especially of the big schools like Jackson, the Southerners, the damn Texas Southerners, the A&Ms, A&T. I don't know none that really don't. So that's why made me think that whole thing was just geared. I ain't even say it for colleges. I'm gonna just say it was for the high schools. That's where the argument really came from, Julia. So y'all know some colleges that don't. I definitely understand your argument, but I don't know too many colleges that don't do some type of concert band or teaching the kid. And Julie, my bad, Quan, you said, I know I'm running one more time. Quan, you said something too. You was a Devon Miles kid, right? You said again? You was like Devon Miles. You couldn't read music going to college, correct?
Correct.
Somebody gave you a chance, correct?
Yeah, and I would give those kids a chance too.
So I guess, because I don't know, you said something earlier. I mean, the same way you got a chance, because every kid ain't getting the fundamental. Like you said, middle schools and music is just not being taught for real. I guess when y'all say something about the numbers and everybody just want a bigger band, I just feel like in this round, to answer your question, Luke, about what happened to band, a lot happened to band. It's something I don't want to bring it up because I don't feel like I'm throwing a shot on that situation. We killed a lot of bands in Atlanta. But between social media and a lot of things they have to do, a lot of the programs that's like relevant didn't fail. A lot of programs failed that they just didn't change with the times, or either didn't make band or didn't keep band hot. That's why a lot of them failed. But as far as them people who just packing their bands, I feel like every kid deserves a chance to get a scholarship in music, whether if they started tomorrow, if they're Devin Miles. But they need to be also have some type of accountability to where they show some type of improvement. You know what I'm saying?
Say,
So I guess
Justin.
yeah.
So here's the thing. Did Professor Jones and Professor George Edwards give me an opportunity? Absolutely. But I want people to understand though this. I had to stay in school an extra 2 years because of it too. So what I'm saying is the 2 years that I spent in school that was extra, if I would have had the proper tutelage, I would have saved more money on the back end. I would have basically saved $49,000 because I paid out of state fee. And then the last 2 years that I was in school, I wasn't in the band. They did bless me with opportunity. So if you could save a kid $50,000 by merely teaching them how to read, then do it. Also, my scholarship was taken away before because I didn't know how to read a piece either. So, like you said, there was aspects of accountability. But every morning after band practice, every day after band practice was open, they made sure that I was in a practice room learning too. So there's certain hardships that I endeavored through that I don't want my kids to endeavor through merely because if it's a drummer, he could slap that hoe. Like, nah, bro. Learn these scales too. Because you're also a representation of the director. What is the director teaching? That's all I'm saying.
I ain't arguing on that. We've been saying that a lot of these, especially high school directors, don't be teachers. And like just because you know it, don't mean you could get through to a student. I just think my problem, and if they took your scholarship knowing that they gave it to you, knowing you know how to read music, I'd have had a big problem with that. What? I knew he didn't know how to read music, but I'm gonna take it because he don't. That I don't know what happened, Quan, but I'd have been highly upset. But yeah, man, I just feel like a lot of the times I ain't gonna say it's never the kid's fault because sometimes we do have kids who just don't apply themselves and always blame the band director. But man, I don't know. I just feel like sometimes every kid, if you're trying, I think you need a change. You deserve a change. I don't care if you picked that horn up yesterday or 10 weeks ago, but show some type of sign of improvement. But I don't know. But that's my time, man. I don't know. But I get y'all right. I'm not against concert music. It's just a matter of how they was trying to use this whole why y'all not doing concert, knowing damn well this not a concert season for a bunch of those bands. That's the only problem I had with it.
Okay. All right, brother. I hear you. Like I said, as long as they're default, I'm good. So there we go. All right, man. As always, man, we appreciate you, brother. Man, you have a blessed one.
All
right. Let's bring in the next brother. Our good brother. Like I told him, I guess he ain't see the message. Turn your phone sideways. Not you. You don't turn sideways. There we go. All right. There we go. What's going on, Chuck?
Hey, what up?
What up? First of all, just letting y'all know, Maya had to drop out. She had another engagement that she had to attend to. So she did say good night, but she couldn't say it because we were still having a dialogue with Justin. But anyway, man, what's going on, Chuck?
What's up, y'all? Just busy.
Sounds about right during this time.
Yeah. And I've added orchestra on my plate too.
I saw that. Welcome to the orchestra club.
Right.
You've been
right.
taking your instruments home and practicing with them?
Oh, for sure, man. I got them in my office. So I'm digging out them books.
I used to go home. I'd be sitting in my room all day going through my hand positions and my fingering and my up bows, my down bows, learning the new terminology. I didn't know what an arco was before.
Right, arco, right.
Really knew what it was before I was done, yeah.
Right. And we see it in wind literature as well, too. But I know I ain't got that much time. But I do want to say, Portia, what up? It was good seeing you a few weeks ago. I know it was just for a second, but shout out to the Legion. They did an amazing job here in Atlanta, like always. But yeah, so first off, I thought that I had to laugh when I saw that situation with Deion because it made me go back to Dollar Watson's skit that he did months ago. And then, of course, it resurfaced again. And I was like, oh, man, that's crazy. I think you mentioned, about having a connection with your AD. I've always had a really good relationship, sometimes a little bit too good, meaning that I got sucked into coaching at 2 of my schools that I was at, and so hey, come on and coach. And so you do have to good relationship. Do I think yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting, but I know you mentioned about Dr. Jones, and then of course director that's at Penn State as well too. They're directly from the culture, and they understand what it takes, and I think it's a little bit more accepted when it comes from one of our own versus somebody trying to emulate what we do. And I talked to a band director here in the area when we were at district stuff that same weekend. I saw Portia, and he was like, man, my administration asked us, we got HBCU week, and they asked us to play Talking Out of Side of Their Neck. And he had to tell you, he's like, I had to tell him, look, I don't come from an HBCU. It is not going to be what you think it's going to be. And I told him, I was like, you know what? I appreciate that. And I was like, and if you want some of us from the area to maybe come and talk about some things, and then we can do that. But I was like, I appreciate that, because you're not trying to do something that you don't know, or, vice versa. So, that's with that. But then again, this whole conversation, it gets me thinking about a couple things. I always talk to my kids about empowerment. And just as if we were being taught how to read, I always say that you would never attempt to write a 5-page or even a 10-page paper if you didn't know the alphabet. On the flip side, I can't expect you to play XYZ if you don't know your scales. They, directly correlate. So I say, hey, as teachers, we're empowering our students, whether it's reading, writing, arithmetic, or even music. And I hope to empower my students that they can play anything that's put in front of them. I don't care if it's concert, marching, jazz, music. What I feel is that, and it makes me think, and I'll just be transparent. When I was at A&T, we did the traditional schedule where we did concert band only in the spring. We put together some BS concert for the winter, just to say we did a Christmas concert, and then we started off in January, right? And that was just how things went because of the university schedule and stuff like that. When I got to be underneath the late Prof. Chambers at Fayetteville State, we had university band 2 sections. One was concert, one was marching band, and concert band started in the fall. It started in the fall, and we did it before we did that. We went to dinner, and then we came back and did our marching rehearsals. And oh my goodness, we got through so much rep, it was ridiculous. And so as an educator going in, I've always prepared my classes in preparation for any ensemble. If it's in the fall, we're going to clean up some of these marching band tunes, but we're also going to get into some wind literature as well too. And then vice versa, like LGPE is up for us next week. We're still going to get together some new stuff for concert band for our spring concert, but we got jamborees coming up here in Atlanta. And so we're going to work on some of that music as well too. And then our jazz band has been rocking and rolling. And I've always had jazz band as a class, and I'm working on adding that as well too. You know what I'm saying? And so, and it's crazy. I see somebody in the chat, this Anglo music. See, that mentality right there shows a miseducation amongst us. We have so many African Americans and Hispanic, Latino composers that write wind literature, jazz music, and other music as well too. And those are being put on Front Street more now than ever. But it's because we have to be educated behind it. And there's a lot of folks, and again, I ain't sliding my dude on there, but that comment is very unfortunate. It shows that we don't know our history. And we have people in positions that are responsible for teaching young individuals that don't know their history, that don't know these composers, that don't know, bro, if you shoot me an inbox or your email, I can flood your email with them. I'm sure you haven't heard of Marie Douglas, new African-American composer that has pieces all over the country that people are playing. HBCUs, PWIs. And see, the problem is that I'm about to get on my soapbox. The problem is
Well,
that you have
don't get too far on your soapbox.
right.
Yeah,
the problem is that we got folks that don't look like us that appreciate some of the stuff that we do more than our own. That is the problem. We got more predominantly white schools that are pushing jazz education than are black schools that teach our black and brown and Native Americans and Middle Eastern students that don't have jazz programs. And that's one of the few pure American art forms that isn't taken or borrowed from anything else.
That part is true.
You know, and so again, my thing is that if you are an educator and you are trying to get people to institutions of what? Higher learning. The standard, and I was just telling my students the other day, I was like, why would you audition for a university or college if their standard is lower than your high school district standards? That doesn't make sense. I'll be honest, I've had some students audition for some HBCUs that didn't ask for but for a couple scales, or one person auditioned on their quints. And they're supposed to be a percussionist. But I was like, but for the district, you got to play 12 major scales, prepared piece, and sight read. Again, these are institutions of higher learning. Now, I all believe about giving people a chance, because that's what our HBCUs and our colleges and universities are for, giving individuals a chance for them to get better. But we have to have standards. And the standards has to be all the way around. So I'm saying, if you're an educator, if you're a lover of music, you should be teaching it all. Now, I do feel there's some individuals that have, they're insecure, that they have never played jazz music, or maybe they don't know how to teach certain things on a marching band field. So that's why they're always doing step twos and stacks and slants. They don't know other stuff. And so again, we have to educate ourselves. The information is out there more now than ever, but I think folks get comfortable. And I also think that folks, use this argument and debate to just be like, hey, this is what I like and this is what we should do. Every director should have the autonomy to build their program, but you should also have the knowledge to be able to teach every and anything. You're not going to go, if you go to a hospital, they have people that are specialized in each area to make what? The hospital, the medical system. I'm not going to go to one doctor if I need something else. And so, we just have to be educated. We're responsible for the growth and development of these kids. And, I think that argument comes in because you have some folks that don't know how to teach concert band. But then also you got some folks that wish they could do some of those marching band opportunities too. I think it's great. I've done Mardi Gras. I've done a lot of different stuff. But I always prepare my kids so they can play anywhere, whether it's University of Michigan or it's Jackson State or Southern, wherever they want to go. And I think that that's what some kids are missing out on, the opportunities, because they are getting too much of one thing.
I absolutely agree with you, brother. Man, I appreciate it, man. I kind of want to engage it with you a little bit more, but we got to go because we got another guest coming in, brother, and I don't want Portia to fall asleep.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good, man. I appreciate y'all, man.
All right, brother. Always a pleasure, bro.
Take care. Peace.
All right, you too, man. Let's bring brother Justin Jackson in real quick. Boom. Man, I don't even know what happened to Quan. What's going on, brother Jackson?
What's going on, y'all? Just wanted to say shout out to my Sarah from Zeta Phi Beta. How you doing, Miss Portia?
Oh Lord,
Mr. Luke, you already know where I'm coming from. You agree with me somewhat. You understood what my premise was. We have a lot of schools in every category, from middle school on up to college, that their band program is strategically placed just for marching band. So you have to figure out that time that even during marching band season that you're still teaching music. That was my whole point. You have to be able to. It's still marching band. So the music side of it is there. The second aspect of that is the majority of our most famous larger schools were not running to see their halftime shows. I mean, you can see from the attendance from the Honda show, which I did volunteer this year, and I'm a member of the HCAS yeah, people are running to the jamborees more than they're going to the actual halftime situations. Yes, we still pack out the school for, I mean, the stadiums up until halftime. Third quarter starts trickling out, but you remember, the jamborees are really what's selling. So the sitting down aspect and playing, it still has to be a large thing. What's up, Quan? How you doing? Thank you for sending your students to Texas College, brother.
Oh, no problem.
But like for instance, at the school that was currently at, Texas College, we don't have a lot of concert band equipment. Like we don't even have euphoniums or we have one actual mirrophone, one actual tuba. Everything else is we have more tuba players than we have band members anyway. So we are starting to teach them other instruments. That's from a mandatory aspect because we're gonna have concert band. We have to. We're in Tyler, Texas. We're more known for our jazz band in East Texas than our marching band, but right now, when we're in marching band and when Cleveland Harris was there, when Prof. Kevin D. Smith was there, when Samuel Long was there for that short time, we're still teaching concert band technique. If you really think about the difference between and the time that you're taking during drill, most of that is to get students in shape. It's not really to get them asserted to your style. So we're not doing a lot of your style, our marching style. We're doing more playing techniques. That was my only point. And I could understand the argument slightly coming from auxiliary, but when you go to those inside festivals, fall festival, the larger classical music and dance and jazz, what music are y'all dancing and playing to? That still has to be played from a band standpoint. So we still have to teach music. We still have to make sure that we can cover all aspects and all genres, no matter what style we're in.
So, and I didn't know if Portia was going to hit the unmute button, but I did want to. So, a lot of things that you said, I mean, you're true, right? So, like, there are a lot of situations where you are set up specifically for marching band, but one of the things that you said holds true that I think in a lot of the arguments that were not only made tonight, but I think a lot of people have said in the past is the one thing that I think a lot of people are missing. You made the decision that yes, you're going to have a concert band. There are many people, or there may be many directors, because I'm not going to say what is and what isn't, but there may be many directors who are out there who are like, that's not a focus, even if they have the resources to make it happen. And I think that is a lot of what people are or may be referring to is the fact that, and I think that's also what Quan has stated many a times, just the standard. It's just the level of the standard of what you personally hold within you. So you said something to the degree of when you were there, you're not there anymore, right? Because I don't know.
No, I'm the sports information director at North American University now.
Got you. Okay, all right, dope. But when you were there, you didn't have the instrumentation. You had not seen the euphonium. Yeah, that's very true. And I know what that feels like because I walked into a high school program where a percussion section had really not seen what concert percussion, a true concert percussion looked like. They didn't even know what a wood block was. So I had to find opportunities and ways to provide the things that they needed in order for them to be able to get that, because that was my standard. And I think that is really the root of the issue, or the root of the conversations is, what is your standard? What standard are you living by? What standard are you trying to put into these students? So I think that in totality is just kind of where it is. I could be wrong. I could be massively wrong. And if I am, oh well. But I think that's where that conversation comes from.
That's all I wanted, man. Thanks, y'all. I appreciate y'all for having the show, bro. That's a big thing. Big thing.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate you.
All right.
All right, bro. Man, this has been a interesting one, man. I guess I didn't think it was gonna go this far. I really didn't. But it's cool. You know, I appreciate the conversations. I appreciate the information because, like I said, I always want to take different perspectives. I'm never one of those kind of people who are going to be stuck in my box and not want to hear different perspectives. Now, I'll tell you this, just because I hear it don't necessarily mean I'm agree with it, but I at least want to hear it. Man, let's get ready to get out of here. But before we get out of here, I do want to make sure that I do say this, man, if y'all want to catch us in Atlanta, we will be there for the consortium. I will make sure that I give the date to you all. Some things are being finalized, but I did get the confirmation today. We will be in Atlanta going live with this show. So if y'all want to hear Quan pop off in person, or Portia be surprised at something that's happening in the band world that she did not know about, y'all are free to come and well, I don't know if y'all, I ain't gonna say y'all free to come and check us out, but you can check us out at the HBCU Band Directors Consortium. That will be happening at the end of March. So I will give you guys more details on that. Other than that, man, I have nothing else. Let's go ahead and get ready to get out of here. So, Portia, any final thoughts, anything you got for the culture?
One thing I want to say publicly is that I am done with this master's degree. I submitted my last assignment today. Now I'm just waiting to graduate. I could just cry, y'all.
Congratulations.
Man. Okay.
Yes.
I can't even believe it, but
Right.
Hey, that's how I felt. Okay. Ooh, child. But growth and progress. Being excellent in many facets is definitely the goal. We aren't downplaying marching band. I love marching band. The Legion transformed my life, but I couldn't just be great at that. I had to then leave there and go be great in order to propel and sustain my life. Like, you have to be multifaceted. And so nobody's knocking marching band, but I'm uber excited for the fact that the students who participated in the jazz band at Norfolk State got that opportunity to open up, for a legend, who's a family of legends from, so in the jazz realm, that's an opportunity that they'll never forget. Coming off of Pasadena, now they have this other awesome opportunity that they wouldn't have if we only focused on marching band. So the goal is growth. The goal is to be well-rounded, and you don't have to agree, but we also have to learn how to have conversations and not have the same perspective and not be argumentative or disrespectful to what we don't agree with. But that's all I got.
Word. Quan, any final thoughts, anything you got for the culture?
First of all, congratulations, Portia. I know that feeling when you hit that submit button. So congratulations for that for sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Number 2, bro, at the end of the day, your job as a teacher is to teach. Not just what you like, but what you need to ensure that your students are prepared or what they may walk into. At the end of the day, certain kids may take physics, but that doesn't mean that they're going to work for NASA. But that is a course that's required. At the end of the day, bro, your job is to prepare that child to deposit and invest in them the best way you can. All of the things that maybe you should have had. So for whoever that little dude that say, master gonna keep us happy, there's so like Chuck said, there's so many African Americans, Latino composers that are writing literature, standard literature that speaks solely to us and about our experiences. So if that's the case, bro, you can keep your uneducated ass comment to yourself, because I'm gonna say it for you. If people are, because I really be with the shits in person too.
I know.
But if at the end of the day, if a person want to look up some literature, there's a piece called The Last 7 Words of the Unarmed. Go look that up. Go look up "O Come Sunday" by Omar Thomas. Go look up "Deep River" by Ben Horn. Go look up the pieces by William Grant Still. Go look up those. Another phenomenal arranger is Crystal. That be on our show, as well as Julian. Man, we making Black history and have the spirit of Black excellence every day. So y'all can miss me with it, and I'm not gonna be arguing with people on Facebook no more. If y'all want to do marching band, that's cool. But here's the kicker. When the next regime of band directors change, and some of us bring those standards back, don't be mad.
I just got to say this, Julian, and I said it last week. Black marching band is not Black. It didn't start with us. So this notion is really, 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 really killing me here. I want these people to go learn some stuff.
So I just want to ask him. He said no, we're not just playing those Black pieces because those pieces unfortunately are too advanced. But we're playing William Owen, which is a Black composer. We're playing Egyptic as well. You can go look him up too. I don't agree with Quincy Hilliard and what he said about Southern University, but that's another great beginning band composer as well.
Yeah, first of all, yes, Portia, you are correct. Black marching band is not inherently Black at all. But I don't know. I guess in my brain, I'm struggling to understand where this person's argument is. So what I will say is, young brother or older brother, I don't know, but brother, if you do want to have this conversation, which I don't mind having this conversation, I'm pretty sure Quan don't mind having this conversation. I know Portia want to go to sleep, but if she wanted to, we will be back on next week. Feel free to come back in, and we will bring these topics back up, and we can definitely have this discussion because my thing is, like I say, I don't mind having the conversations and I don't mind hearing both sides. So that's my biggest thing.
My question is, what's both sides? What's the other side?
Are you talking to me?
He's saying,
oh, you looking at what
ain't no argument, just be fair to both sides. What's the other side? My argument is diversity never hurt anybody. But what's the other side of that? Just playing marching band music all year?
Oh, okay. You were looking at the comments.
Yeah, I was just trying to understand what he was saying. What's the other side?
Well, I think I'm assuming that because I think and I'm going to assume that he wasn't here for this whole conversation, but I'm going to assume that he believes that I guess we don't like marching band. I don't know, but my thing is, I guess Portia's the same. What is the other side? Like what side are we arguing for versus what side are we arguing against?
Right.
No one said marching band is the devil. We're not.
No that's my whole side hustle. I love it, but I'm sorry. If the Legion did it all year, they would have to find another coach.
Yeah. So I don't really understand what side is being chosen here. So like I said, you are free to come back on next week. I'm gonna tell you right now, we about to go bed. Or if you would like, you can also hit us up in the Instagram. We can have that discussion as well. Real Talk That Talk is on Instagram. You can hit us up there, either one of those, or on Facebook, either one. But if not, you are free to come back next week. Other than that, man, once again, we will be at the HBCU National Band Directors Consortium. You can check us out there. This has been a super, super, super dope episode, man. We have lasted pretty long pause, but it is time for us to get ready to turn it in and go to bed. So with that being said, man, please make sure you click the like button on the way out. You can also hit the thumbs down, like I said, on the way out, man. Just help that YouTube algorithm. Also, if you're watching this on playback, you all can also hit that like button. Please make sure you like and subscribe and turn on those notifications. We are done. I ain't got nothing else. We will see you all on next Whizzle.